Hey, it's already started. All right, well. All right. Welcome to the Black Ribbon Warrior podcast. I am your host, Lee, and I am joined by my lovely bride, wife, darling, and dear co-host.
Hi.
So, my dear, I didn't realize that on our topic that I was going to be filming on my phone, and that's where I had the note for Bob Marley, but I read it a few times. Interesting fact, as we're trying to go through this and try to find more content, instead of just us, conversating about the same thing over and over and over, which is why we're here, right? So anyway, we thought we would dive into the celebrities that have had or been blessed with melanoma. So, like I mentioned, Bob Marley, he's a singer, songwriter, I reckon. He had melanoma because of a mole under his toenail.
Ooh, look at you.
I know, right? So, and he died at age 36, I believe.
Or was it from cancer?
Yes.
I didn't know.
So, that was the interesting little fact that I have now.
Okay.
So you were looking at some other ones up, because this stuff doesn't just touch. Cancer doesn't care if you're a celebrity. It doesn't care if you're an athlete. We talked to Lance Armstrong, he had, his wasn't melanoma, but I mean, he was a tip-top athlete.
Right.
And
it's not
boom.
picky like that.
It doesn't discriminate. So who do you have?
Well, Whitney Carson she's a dancer on Dancing with the Stars.
Whitney Carson?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I said she had it on her foot. And her dad had melanoma.
Okay.
And, I mean, sorry. So she had that. Sam Champion, he's a weatherman from the Good Morning America, I think.
Okay.
Or the Today Show, one of those. It just said that he had, his was basal cell. Sorry.
But still, that is a type of skin cancer.
Andy Cohen.
Isn't he like a comedian of sorts?
He was like a late night talk show host.
Yeah, didn't he start with what's the guy's name? I can't think of what his name is now. Took over after Leno.
I don't remember. I'm not a big late night person. I'm always asleep.
I can see the guy's face, but I can't think of his name. Imagine that.
Jimmy Fallon?
No, that's not who I'm thinking.
Okay, well, I'm not sure. Hugh Jackman had so many, a lot of skin cancers.
Hugh Jackman, the Wolverine.
Yeah. Isn't he Australian?
Yes.
So it kind of makes sense.
Yes,
and the Australians are more prone.
And that is ironic that it is more prone in Australians. I haven't really dove into that, but I like to figure out why. But a lot of my Instagram posts that I see are Australians. Just kind of an interesting tidbit.
Right. Khloe Kardashian, which I said earlier. She's had a couple different melanoma areas removed, according to this website.
Coffee was hot.
So, I mean, those are the ones.
So, Khloe Kardashian.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't she have one off her neck or her
face?
Off her cheek?
That one, it says, hasn't been said that it was melanoma, but in the the promos or whatever for the show, they discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch the show.
Okay.
No, I have not
Listen to
coughed
both
all
of us.
day.
I got that
And
hot
all of a
coffee in
sudden,
my.
I'm starting in.
That hot coffee hit my gizzard. Whew. But
So those are the ones I have. Now there were some statements that other people had other skin cancers, like Troy Aikman. He had skin cancer. Terry Bradshaw had skin cancer. Diane Keaton.
I think I remember Terry Bradshaw. Diane Keaton.
She's in The Godfather. She's the wife in The Godfather.
Yep.
Like Diane Keaton, she's fabulous. She's in a lot of things, but you would know her most likely from that. Because I like The Godfather.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of people. If you're spending any time outside, you can get skin cancer. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. And I noticed it's ironic, not ironic, but you don't think about it. But for our truck driver friends and farmers, that are outside or, driving the grain trucks, you get burn on one side.
Right.
Because you got your arm out. Now, the other day I was out and I was just driving around. I had the windows down and I just driving around town. And I noticed on my left side, which would have been the side with the window, which I had the windows down because it was a nice day out, and I noticed it was a little pink. Now, it wasn't like sunburn, but it was just like irritated pink. Right. So I was like, oh, and of course it looks neon because of the white splotches that we've talked before, where the melanin is gone.
Right.
So it looked kind of neonish.
Yeah.
But woke up the next day and it was gone. But I mean, it was like, oh, reminder, even when you're out driving around with the windows down, and I kept my arm in, I made sure to keep it in because I wanted to put it up and have it, out.
If you would wear sunscreen, then you could.
I know. I didn't think about it because I was just like, oh, I'm just running across town.
Right, but it's one of those that should start being part of your everyday.
Yes.
And I know I harp on it, but that is for you more important than
anybody
else in this family.
Normally when I go out, I put on one of my long sleeve sun shirts.
I know you do.
And that day I didn't. I just, I tell you what I've had today. Not really like, oh my gosh, what happened? Just a day. Not as bad as the other day, but just
yeah, I woke up wanting to take a nap.
Yes. I did not want to wake up, but I still wanted a nap. But I had to. So.
Yeah.
It was time to get up, and I wasn't ready to get up, and then I did end up taking a nap today, so that was really good. But I guess I could lead into the next segment is, so like the other day I just had this feeling that came over me, and we had not another bout, but we had a revisit to the health insurance.
Life insurance,
I'm sorry. Life insurance.
I'm still dealing with the health insurance.
Let me tell you. The fellow that I talked to for the life insurance this time was really good, and I made sure to tell him that. And I didn't cuss him out. We had a good talk. He helped me out, gave me everything I needed to know. So as soon as they get the paperwork, I'm covered. So now I'm actually worth something when I die. Yay!
Good news for me.
Yay! So, anywho, I don't know if that was.
I'm not, by the way. I'm still not worth anything. So.
Yeah, we still got to work that out.
I'm still working it out.
So she doesn't really leave the house much. So
Still hot.
But and I don't know if that triggered something because that day I was doing the errands and I just got like this. It was like a chokehold, like Hulk Hogan chokehold with this, 24-inch pythons wrapped around my neck, and it was hard to breathe all day long. Like, and it was just this extreme sadness. It was stuck in my throat, and my head felt like it was going to explode. Like, and anxiety was ramped up to about a 90 on a scale of a 1 to 10. I was about a 90. Like, you're just on that edge of losing it. And I tried everything that I normally do when those days come, and nothing worked. Thankfully, I was able to go to bed that night on a good note. And, I wasn't upset or anything. I didn't have any reason to be upset. But I noticed these days are more magnified I guess since the end of treatment, the last 3 months, 4 months, 6 months.
Well, maybe,
we're creeping up on 6 months.
Maybe it's more magnified because I'm letting you in on more of the stuff.
It might be.
So, I kept you away from a lot of it, so it didn't bother you because you were dealing with enough. And now that you're inching further out of treatment, I'm letting you in on more of the details of stuff. Also, because I would have just handled this, but now that I work 8 to 5, I can't.
Right.
And you have to handle this.
And it could be because the brain's healing.
It could be. I mean,
so I'm more aware.
Pieces of all of it.
I'm more aware of what's going on, and in that regards.
Right. I bet it's a little bit of all of it, because 6 months ago, 8 months ago, I would have taken time somehow or had one of the kids run these errands for me rather than you doing it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have told you all the details of what had to happen.
Yep.
So maybe.
And then that was what, Thursday, Friday?
I don't know.
Whatever day it was. But then the next day was, you still wake up with that. It's almost like an emotional hangover. You're just kind of, You're not sad. You're not extremely happy. Anxiety's not ramped up. You're just there. And you're like, okay, the sun's shining. I've got nothing to be upset about, so I'm not upset. And you know what? Just take a moment and breathe, because you can. That chokehold is gone, and you can actually breathe and walk around and, not feel like you're going to pass out, or, just from all this emotional stress. And, I accomplished a few things, and by the end of the day, we went to dinner, and everything was thumbs up, peach keen. Felt pretty good, and then, yeah. And today was just kind of like dude, you're tired.
Yeah, I was tired. I was really tired today.
So,
I mean, I know I still have probably a handful of things I still would like to get done today.
Yeah.
But,
yep. But
we'll see.
That was just kind of a weird thing. And on that Facebook group that I'm on, the Mellow Homies Unite, there's a lot of people that talk about the same thing. And there's a lot that are going through, NED for so long, and then, so many of them now are getting spots found.
Right.
One lady, I kind of laughed because she was like, I've been NED for so long, and she had stitches from the last, where she had some cut out, but she was on a cruise. She's like, should I be worried that I just had the cruise doctor take out my stitches?
No, not at all.
But the comments were like, nope, enjoy it. Have a blast.
Right?
Yeah. But, yeah, so that was kind of interesting. I don't really have a lot to...
I feel like we're both like down here today, not in an ugly way, but just kind of down here at this real low baseline of energy and excitement, and
yep.
You know, we've had a busy season. You know, not just dealing with health. We've just had a busy season, and we have a couple breaks. We have a little bit of a break, and then it feels like we become busy again. It's
yep.
You know, like 4th of July, like we're going out of town. Thankfully, none of you know where we live, or I probably shouldn't have said that. But anyway, you know, so that kind of kicks off our July. And then 3.5 weeks later, we move a kid back to college.
Yep.
You know, and then we got to get the other one settled in college. She's staying home, but we still have to help her because, gosh, love her. I'm trying to tell her what to do. It's going to become one of your things I'm going to make you do with her.
Yes.
Because she just needs a little guidance. She's not sure how to do it because she's never had to do it. And we just need some information. But, you know, we start in a new way because we're not sending anybody to school. Like 2 out of the 3 go to college, but we're not sending them to 8 to 4 school. Doing all the school stuff.
The one thing that we noticed with our middle daughter being back, she's working as much as she can, which she rightfully deserves to. But she's finding every excuse to be out of the house because that's what she did her senior year when she was home.
Well, and I think...
And she's a teenager.
And she's a teenager. And
she's a teenage girl, so I get it.
I'm asking a lot of questions. I'm asking... She's taking classes right now. So I'm asking a lot about, hey, tell me about your class. Have you looked in this? Have you done this? Have you done that? Because she, as great as she is socially, she does struggle with some of the scheduling issues with classes. She just does. It's part of, you know, her being in COVID and being in high school. And there was no urgency built into her high school career.
True.
So now there is urgency in college. And so she gets a little lost in some of that. So I'm like, hey, hi, have you looked at this? Have you checked this? Have you done that? And I think I'm driving her crazy. But I'm like, I told you this was the deal with summer classes being at home. I'm going to ask questions. Just like I would if you were in high school.
She was kind of funny because she comes in, and one of the few nights she's home for dinner because she's off and running with a couple of friends every night. Which, hey, I get it. I was that age. I was gone all the time too. But she's like, I want junk food. We don't keep much junk food.
It's not here, kid.
So we're like, we have carrots. There's a keto brownie mix. There is cake mix up there. She's like, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm not baking. I have to be up and out the door by 6:30. I was like, well, that's fine. But that's what I've got to offer you. Other than carrots. And carrots are not considered junk food for her.
Well,
so
I rarely ever crave a carrot, babe.
Yeah, I know. I found that I can eat those when I'm wanting something crunchy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like instead of popcorn or chips.
See,
I can sit down with a bag of carrots.
Carrots don't appease my brain like that.
Yeah, because I just want something to munch on, but I don't want something to, you know, I don't want a bag of Doritos. Because a handful of Doritos turns into a bag.
Right.
And the little fun-sized bag turns into 5. Or 6 because you have to eat in pairs.
Only you.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
But yeah, you know, it's just, you know, the house has changed a bit with having the kids home and together, and they keep us moving in a sense.
She thinks it's funny that we have a podcast studio.
Well, I think a lot of things she does is funny. Let's just be clear.
Well, it was. She said something, and I was like, "Oh, it's up in the podcast studio." She's like, "What?"
Oh, and I would have just said the closet.
Yeah, but for our listeners, they They might remember we're in the closet.
I think it's clear we're in a closet, but
anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, so I don't know. You got some HelloFresh meals in.
I did.
That was one of the things we talked about that on one of the meal train things, like what you could do for somebody, you know, that they found out they have the diagnosis or whatever, and you, instead of asking them what they want, I mean, we harp on that a lot. I don't say harp, I said we talk about that a lot, but that is one thing you can just say, hey, I ordered you some HelloFresh meals.
I would say though, okay, so I don't know if HelloFresh is the thing, because when you're overwhelmed and you're exhausted, the last thing you want to do is cook. So the only thing better than these boxes would be if they came prepared and you could just pull them out of the freezer. But given that I don't know of anywhere that's an option. Well, like, so this is nice.
So I guess I'm thinking more like,
because everything comes to the house. So in that sense, it's all nice. I have good balanced meals.
So that's what I was thinking was you have everything for a meal, and it's not takeout.
Yes.
It's not. You really don't have to put a lot of thought into what you're making.
You just gotta follow the directions.
Yeah, and
they're easy. I mean,
and it comes with everything.
They're about 8. Yeah, I love and you haven't cooked any of them,
right?
But if you need a tablespoon of mayonnaise, it's in a little packet. It's 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise. There's no spare. You just cut it, open it, use it, throw it away. But no, I've been doing that because I don't cook.
No.
I don't enjoy it. I'm plain. I'm plain. So when I cook, if you want chicken and broccoli, you are getting just chicken and just broccoli. And that is how I do it.
But you enjoy these.
Enjoy is still not the thing. I don't find them as horrible to cook. I'm never going to love to cook.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not who I am.
Right.
But if it's a choice of, I'm going to eat pepperonis tonight, or I'm going to make this HelloFresh meal, I don't mind it.
Yeah. And you found that Cub, the youngest one, really enjoys them.
She's trying things because it almost is less scary for her this way. Mm-hmm. Like the other night.
Because she gets very overwhelmed when we go to a restaurant. She's
always been that kid who's been a little overwhelmed anyway. Like we had periods of time where she would beg us to go to the bookstore, and we were like, "Well, pick out a book." Oh, no, that was way too much. That was so hard for her to pick out one, because what if she didn't pick the right one?
She just wanted to go and look at 10 books, sit down where you would go up front and sit and drink coffee and flip through magazines or whatever. That's where she would just sit on the floor and flip through books,
because she was so afraid of making the wrong decision.
Mm-hmm.
So she would end up with 0 books. She would leave and say, I don't know what books. So we had to learn with her, here are your 3 options. Which one of the 3 would you like? And then she can make that decision. She did the same thing with clothing. Mm-hmm. Here are 2 shirts. Which shirt do you like? And she'd easily pick that one. But if I said, go pick out a shirt you like, she would not be able to.
So she's very much chicken tenders and fries.
Yeah. She'll try things, but that's
to get like to order a meatloaf sandwich like you ordered the HelloFresh. And we're not sponsored or anything like that.
No, but I mean, HelloFresh, like seriously, if you're listening, you can send me a free box.
You had a coupon, and that's what
we used.
So even like a gift card, I think you can buy gift cards.
I think you can.
And so if you did a gift card and gave it to a family, that is having these kind of, or is in this situation, that is a wonderful idea. Mm-hmm. I think it's not just HelloFresh. There's all kinds of
dinner planning.
Yeah.
websites.
But it that I think to have, like, when we had a family that brought us tacos, and then they brought in like bags of nachos because they knew the girls wanted nachos, like loaded nachos, and then you had taco salads, and then so they brought all this stuff. So it wasn't just here's all your stuff for tacos.
There was options.
Yeah, then you had the option of Taco Thursday and taco bowls, or whatever.
Did you say Taco Thursday?
Possibly.
What is Taco Day?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
But so if we had it on Tuesday, you don't eat tacos.
I was just saying.
You could do tacos on Thursday, or you could have nachos on Thursday, or whatever. You could eat taco salads. You could have, make
so
whatever.
The option is just to bring stuff that has options.
So that was nice, but it was overwhelming because they kept coming in, and you're like boxes and boxes. And we have limited counter space in our 2-butt kitchen, and we were running out of counter space before they were done carrying in.
Yeah, we were. And
then it was like, then you got to find a place to refrigerate all that. Where, a meal like this,
everything comes in the box. It all just goes in the fridge, and everything's bagged up, which I think is really cool. That everything you need for one meal is in one bag, except for the meats. That's separate.
Yep.
But we've been doing that, and it's nice because even now, as you've talked about, that you've lost motivation for doing things that you always enjoyed prior.
Mm-hmm.
And cooking was one of the things you enjoyed prior. So, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I do. I'm good at it, and I still do it, but I don't.
You don't do it. Babe.
I'm not as.
You cook on Sunday.
Not as enthusiastic as I was. I'm looking for simpler, quick stuff.
I was telling my friend this weekend.
I don't even need like a whole meal. I just need parts of it.
That's exactly the thing. You cook on Sunday morning, and that's it. And then, like on Monday, you will make a whole thing of sausages. A big thing of sausages. And you're like
she's talking like the 2.5, 3 pound pack you get out of like Sam's Club.
You make all of them. And then you're like, well, I made you sausages. So for lunch, I have sausage. And for dinner, well, I made sausage. And then the next day for lunch, you have sausages in there.
But I might make... I might make like onions and peppers to go with the sausage.
No, you don't. Don't even try to sound
I did onions.
It's not a common thing for you. Okay, but onions. Let's say onions. What am I going to eat with that sausage? Just onions?
Yeah, you put it on a taco or a keto bun.
Okay, do you see the difference here? Do you see my head?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it works for me.
But you don't make a meal, and that's your thing. You don't eat meals anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So then you get snackier, and then you're like, why is this a problem? Well, because you're not eating a meal.
Yep.
So that's where you kind of dropped, and you haven't picked that up. And I'm over here like, now I have to do this. And it gets, honestly, a little annoying. I'm not mad at you. But I don't cook. I don't enjoy it. And I'm like, oh, shit. Now I gotta make the meal. So, the first time I said I bought this box, you were like, well, we have plenty of food. It's not about that. It's not, I'm not good at putting anything together.
If it comes all together like that, you're like, hey, I know what I need.
That's it. I'm not good at picking things out of the pantry, putting things together. If you remember, I did try to make something out of the pantry once, and you were like, honey, what on earth is this? And I said, I don't know. I thought this meat and this veggie and this would kind of go together, and it could be like a bowl. And you were like, no, this really did not work. This isn't good. And I said, well, I agree it's not good. But this is what happens when I try to pull things out of the pantry.
And I don't even remember that. So
in logic,
that tells you how traumatic it was, because I don't remember it.
I just remember you were like, no, this is not how you do it. So yeah, it's just not my forte. So I mean, that's just one of those things that also changed.
Yeah. And I saw something that, and it really, like, it was one of those little quote meme things that like just I went, yes, absolutely. It said, cancer takes your dreams and replaces it with anxiety.
Yes.
And I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, man, there's a new park that's opened up here in town that has a small man-made lake, and it's like 21 acres. And I was like, man, that'd be cool. And it's open to the public anytime. It's got fishing and all that stuff in it. And I was like, you know what? I ought to go up and check that out. Oh, wait a minute. Well, that means this, and this. Do I really want to do all that right now? And I was like, all this stuff started building up. And of course, in the headspace that I'm at today, where I'm just like, I did want to go. Mm-hmm. I wanted to go, but I didn't want to go. You get that nervous anxiousness, and you're like, I screw it, I'm not going. Now, will I go tomorrow? Good possibility. Just to go check it out.
Well, the one kid will be off, so she could go with you.
Yes, but she's running with her friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
But anyway, you know, it's finding things, trying to find that thing that says, you know what, this is me. This is who I was before.
I think it's getting almost retiring that who you were before.
Yeah, because
and
there's
figuring out who you are now.
And that's hard. That is, because like we've talked about, this thing drops you off, and your body has memories, like your muscle memories and stuff of, and things that you should do and what it wants to do, and your mind's like, whoa, what's going on here? I don't know nothing about this. Hold on a minute.
Well, speaking of what we should do, you know what we didn't do last week?
You did.
I did go to the gym one day.
You did. Yes, you did.
But you have not.
I did not.
And we need to make that a plan.
Yes, we need to like schedule that as like Wednesday.
Well, we probably need to go at least twice.
Anyway, yes, we need to make that more of a big priority.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked myself out of a few things because the classes make me nervous. Because I like a good class, but it makes me a little nervous because I don't know what they are, and there's no description. It has to be allergies. Descriptions about like, is this for beginners or intermediate or whatever? Because I haven't worked out for 4 weeks, and really worked out like 3 to 5 times a week, like I was doing, typically 4 to 5. And I need to get back there. But it's a process because it takes time. It just takes time to do. And because I do it by myself, it's even more, you know?
Yeah, because if I go to the gym, I'm like on the treadmill or the bike. I don't do the classes.
No, but, you know, I have programs here. And I'm good at doing it here. That's fine. But again, it's that it's more like, oh, I'm by myself.
Yeah.
And sometimes that isn't always effective in a sense. Like once I get going, I'm fine. It's the setting apart that time to do it and get going.
But what I did do is I go to when I go out to do errands, I end up walking 17 different stores. Now I don't buy something at every store. But no. I just walk and look, and
we do have to just raise up your cardiovascular, though.
Yeah.
So that
I don't speed walk.
It gets your heart pumping a little better because that's the exercise portion.
Honey, the anxiety that I had the other day was enough to get my heart a pumping.
So while I didn't go to the gym a second time this week, I did do something.
Yes, and I was gonna get to that because the excitement that you had was probably the second. Well, it was one of the brighter highlights of my day that I was having. Blah.
Yeah.
So seeing you excited, like kid on Christmas morning,
Mm-hmm.
like toddler kid, not like teenage kid that's going to hate everything.
It's moody and broody anyway.
Yeah, that's going to hate everything. Like a toddler. Yeah. That was the kind of excitement that you had. And so tell us what you did.
So I told you for years that I wanted to go kayaking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And initially, there was always some reason why we couldn't. It was just scheduling or whatever. And then it was cancer for 2 years. And we couldn't go kayaking. And so I called a friend of mine and I said, hey, do you know where they rent kayaks? Because she's like she's kind of a watery person. Like I know that she lives in a different area and they have different things up there and whatever. I mean, not far from here, but still, just different.
20 minutes up the road.
Different things.
Up the highway.
And she said, girl, I have a kayak. What? I don't know how she goes, I don't know how you didn't know I had a kayak. Like, I don't know, but I didn't know. And so her and I met Saturday morning about 10 o'clock and we took the kayak out and I got home, 3:45?
Something like that, yeah.
We kayaked for a while. We talked. We floated in the kayak for a bit. We put the kayak back and we just floated in the water for a bit. And it was truly so much fun. Just to, one, be on the water. Water makes me happy. To be in sun. I was sunscreened with a shirt, with a hat, with sunglasses, but I still managed to burn like my shins.
So Friday night.
Only my shins.
Friday night, she's like, I need a new outfit. I'm like, what? So apparently,
I didn't have any water shorts.
Apparently, to go kayaking, you got to have a certain outfit, which was fine. And I said, well, you have a sun shirt. And she's like, but I don't have sun shorts. Okay. So we went shopping. And she found a pair of shorts. And
I wanted shorts that if they got wet, they would dry quickly.
And I wanted to make sure she had a bucket hat. But she's like, no, I'm just wearing a ball cap.
My ears were good. I sunscreened them. I only got sunburnt like right on top of my shins. And that was it.
Yep.
And I did put sunscreen on and it's gone now and I put, cream on it and I know that doesn't mean anything, but I really did put sunscreen on. I don't know why this one spot, and it was on both legs, the same spot, but it wasn't anywhere else on my body.
Which is, ironically, you say that. One of the guys that follows me on Instagram is in Australia. And I've told you about him before, that we've messaged back and forth, whatnot. He had posted, he went out fishing and he was covered and everything was good. He had one spot on his ribs.
Right?
A real awkward spot, like on his ribs. They got sunburnt. It was like it was a triangle. And it's really awkward where it was at. So
yes. I never get sunburnt on my legs like this. Like, if you think of all the sunburns that you've been around, it's always like my chest, my shoulders, my arms, my face.
All the places that don't normally see sun.
Right. It's never my shin. And when I told her when we were in the kayak, I said, my legs are burning. I can feel it. Mm-hmm. And did we pack the extra sunscreen? And we both went, oh, crap. Like, we didn't think about it. We put it on before we left. It was, we just didn't think about it again when we were transferring things over to get in this bag because you don't want to weigh down your kayak, so you move things around. And I'm like, well, let me just move around. Let me splash my legs and whatever. And then later, like at home, I looked at myself and I was like, oh my gosh, I am my brother-in-law. That's all I could think is because, when we go to the beach with my brother-in-law, that's the same exact spot that he gets burned every summer. It's never anywhere else. It's this one spot on his shins. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I burned my shins. And then I thought, well, thank gosh my feet were under that hood kind of the corner because that would really hurt if the tops of my feet were sunburnt.
I would have to put like some sort of canopy over it.
Well, you would have worn your pants.
Yeah, I think they have the canopy tops for them.
You could have worn your sun pants.
Yeah, I would have, and I would have had a bucket hat on and my
gloves your shirt, and you would have been fine.
Yeah.
And my upper body with my shirt on was perfect. every other part, I kept my hair down, so it covered my ears, covered my neck for the most part. Had my sunglasses on. It was just this one spot on my shins. But it was so worth it for that few hours of being on the water. And we loved it so much that we have decided that our family's going to rent a boat, and she's looking for a pontoon, so it has a canopy for you. And we want to go tubing. You don't have to tube because I don't think it's your jam, but you could tube in all of your clothing.
I could, yes, and fish. I haven't tubed in.
We're just thinking lazy river tubing here, not like pool behind a boat tubing.
No,
like
so
lazy river.
So last time I was doing something like that, I mean,
we've never done it.
No, we haven't, but I've done something similar, and it, just kind of sitting in it and fishing.
Yeah, we won't be fishing, dear. We'll just be floating in a lazy river.
Like at an amusement park?
No, like at the Catawba.
Well, then there's a river.
Yeah, but it's just like lazy river. We're not doing anything. We're just going to sit there and float. There's no fishing off of it.
So I'll probably drop you off and fish and then go pick you up.
So you're going to be our other car because you got to put one at the start and one at the end.
Yeah, then I'll probably...
Because it takes about 3 hours.
Yeah, I'll probably...
You would be sick of us in 3 hours.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. So it's a girls' day. And then we talked about kayaking more.
Yep.
And maybe just, just exploring some of these little parks together because it's fun.
Yep. That sounds like a good plan. That really does.
Yeah.
Because I'm not into as much stuff as I was.
Right. So this
and
is
I don't know
nature, peaceful.
And I don't know what this new lifestyle is going to be like.
And you wouldn't even have to drive the boat. You know why? Not that I'm going to drive the boat. My friend, when she lived in New York, she had to get her license to drive a boat. So she's good. She can drive the boat.
Yep.
You can just lay under the awning and relax.
Yep. Bring my little umbrella, and I have to see if I can find one of those beanie hats that have the umbrella on top. I saw a guy with one at the I went to the flea market and walked around, and
if nothing else, you could just hold a golf umbrella.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I got one of those.
But we're looking at getting one that with the awning and pulling the awning. So
yeah,
at least you're mostly covered, with all of your gear.
Yep.
So yeah, we're thinking about just some water activities because it's calming to all of us.
And it's just us.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the big thing because when we were looking at it before, it was X amount to get on per person to rent the kayak, and then per person, and we had to have the girls with us, so there was 4 of us at the time.
Right.
Because the oldest one was still home, but she was in that late teen stage,
and,
teen stage where we were really bad, and where the parents were bad, and you can't hang out with, because we're not cool. Now she wants to hang out with us.
Now we're kind of cool.
Because now she has to pay her own way and realizes if she goes to dinner with us, we
pay for it.
Yeah, so that's why we're cool again.
I also think they think we're kind of cool.
Yeah, maybe.
Sometimes.
But, so now, if it is a cost per person, it's only 2 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And if your friend has the kayak, I looked at the kayaks, they're not too expensive.
No.
And relative, it was like, the inflatable ones was like $135 on Amazon.
Right. And
so
my arms got to work out, my upper back got to work out, your core gets to work out.
So that's about
that's nice.
That's about probably 2 paychecks from YouTube. So 4 to 6 months worth of work.
Yeah. It's a goal though. It's knowing because right now I can just call and be like, hey, you want to go kayaking?
Yep, because the one you guys had, it was a lot sturdier than the inflatable raft that I had before.
Yeah, this one, at first I was nervous, and then I went to move it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really sturdy. She's like, yeah. And her dad met us out there and had a paddleboard, and his paddleboard was also inflatable. And he's a grown man, like 6 foot something. And he was on the paddleboard, just paddleboarding away.
Yeah, I don't know that my balance would do well on a paddleboard.
Yeah, no, I think I could sit on it.
Yeah.
I could lay on it in like a big floaty. I don't think I could stand on it. I mean, maybe I could, but it would take a minute to get there. It would take a minute. But then I also, when it goes into the water and goes over a wave, I think I'd be done.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you know, I think
toast.
I would be toast at that point. I don't think I could recover.
Yeah.
But maybe I should get you a Bosu ball.
A what?
A Bosu ball. A Bosu ball. It's a device where the top is a platform, like a hard platform. I know you've seen it. And the bottom looks like an exercise ball.
Oh, yeah.
So you learn to balance on that, and if you can balance a Bosu ball, you likely can balance a paddleboard.
It was the pogo ball.
I don't know, maybe. This is about this big around.
They had those in the 80s where you had the ball and had the platform, and you stood on the platform and you had to put your ankles together and squeeze the top of the ball.
Well,
then you jumped, and it was like a pogo stick, but you were on a ball.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm talking about?
No. Well, I do, but no.
That's not it?
No, it's completely flat, like a surface on the top.
And you rock, right?
No, well, you would, because the top is a disc, and the bottom is a exercise ball.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're standing on it, you got to really work that balance to keep yourself standing, right?
Okay.
And if you could keep yourself standing like this, because often you get on it and you do this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can keep yourself here, you likely can do a paddleboard.
Okay. But yeah.
You don't know what it looks like still.
No, I know what you're talking about now, yeah. But like the last time I was on a paddleboard, yeah, I was like, okay, I'm done. Because I wiped out quite a few times.
Yeah. I just think if you can do one, you might be able to do that. There. That's a Bosu. So when you turn it upside down,
yeah. So then
it's wobbly.
So it kind of looks like one of those popper snap things.
Yeah, this is a hard bottom surface.
Yeah.
So the other side's like a ball. So like for therapy, you squat on it and it works your ankles and your stability and all of that through your ankles and your knees, all that strategy of keeping your balance. And then you flip it over and it's like a wobble board almost. And it makes you work your core, because if you tighten your core, you can fix your balance and all of this stuff.
Yeah, mine's more neurological.
It is. You could benefit from some balance, though.
Yeah.
We all can. Everybody can benefit from balance.
So, yeah. So I went to the flea market and walked around and saw some pretty interesting stuff while you were kayaking.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know. You brought one piece home.
Yep, I did get a piece cast iron. It's an interesting piece. And most of you probably don't know much about it, but that's okay. But it's a brand new piece, so it dates back before pre-seasoning, and it's a Lodge 3-notch, number 3, and it does not have Made in the USA on it. Why is that significant, you ask? Because somewhere in the early 60s, they started putting Made in the USA on it, on all the pieces. And you had to name the country of origin on all the cast iron pieces. And this particular piece has the label still in it. So the label's a little, it's been kept in a garage, but I mean the whole pan has, so it's kind of brittle, but it's all still intact. and the logo on the label they didn't start using that logo until 1973.
Okay.
So I'm either pre-60s because of the skillet itself, or it's a transition piece going into the early 70s.
Okay.
So
there's more about that though. On your on your other YouTube.
So what's cool about it is, even if it's from 1973 to 87, which was the time frame that logo and the skillet were made together, it's still an unused piece, basically brand new, and you don't see any of those labels anymore.
Right.
You know, we're talking, how many years? 40, 50 years?
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty cool. You know, well
my
worth.
event was cooler. Just saying.
Yep, your story was much better.
Thanks.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners would rather hear more about your kayaking.
And less
were there any?
Your
yes.
Things. Yeah.
Were there any snakes?
Okay, so this is funny.
Okay.
We were in the kayak.
Yep.
And she said to me, "Look over there. Do you see that turtle? It just jumped in the water." I said, "What are you talking about? Do I see any animal?"
Oh yeah.
No.
She only sees black bears.
Oh my gosh, there was a picture of a bear at a beach, and I almost sent it to you. There was a bear at a beach.
She can't see the deer that are standing right on the side of the road.
There was a TikTok I almost sent you. I don't think I did. Have you seen this? This couple, they're pulling a trailer, and they said, "How do you explain to your insurance?" And it's like their rear view camera thing catches. I don't really know how they had this caught. But the deer ran in between the truck and the trailer and like smashed into like the front of the trailer and then just kept running.
Oh, geez.
And I thought that would happen to me. And I would call you and say, "A deer just hit the trailer." And you'd be like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "It ran into the trailer." And you'd be like, "Babe."
Yeah.
It did not.
Well, I would believe that one, because deer are crazy.
Like, I'll have to find it, but it runs and it completely like smashes in the front of these people's like camper.
Yeah.
And then it bounces off and keeps going. But yes, no, I see no animals anywhere.
Because I remember, so I was looking at getting a little raft or two at different points, but then I started recognizing how many copperheads and water moccasins are around. And that turned me off of getting a tube or any kind of. I mean, I got the little raft, and it ended up being.
The kids used it as like a airbed in the living room for a bit.
Yeah, because I pumped it up to try it out, and it all worked fine. And then the first time that I used it, I sat in the center, and the top and the front and the back both went up in like a V.
Like taco Jew.
Like a U. And so that wasn't going to work. And I had to, when I used it by myself, I had to lay in it on my back. And when I was trying to fish, I would have to have the rod tip on my toes. So I could, it was just a mess. We
got rid of that, didn't we?
I think we did. I don't even know where it would be if I still had it.
Yeah.
That was ages ago.
Gosh, it was a long time ago, but yeah.
Ages and ages ago.
So no, I did not see any animals.
Well, good.
I mean, they could have been there. Shoot, they could have been like crawling up my back. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's true. But. So your kayaking was fun.
Yeah.
So what do you got planned for this week? You got You do have plans for us Saturday night.
I do. We have plans with 4 friends. There's 4 friends that are going to meet us at. This is again another plan for me. Let's just be honest.
Yes.
A new brewery is opening, and you had to have tickets to go. So I thought, well, you and I talk a lot about how, because of all of this, it's changed things we like to do, things we used to like to do. We are more homebodies now than we've ever been. I've never been a homebody, and I'm really a homebody now. That I thought this might be fun just to get out. You and another guy don't drink at all. So I really hope there's options for you other than water. But
it's not about us.
I thought that just getting out with other people, getting out in our community, just trying something new, doing something different could be fun. So we're going to go to a brewery opening.
Yep. So that's been one thing that I've been finding. It's not about what I want to do. If you want to do it, let's do it. You know, where before all this, I'd be like, I'm not going. You go have a good time. Now you never know. That could be the last event we do. You never know. So it's the little things that are going to mean the big things.
Right.
So
I'm excited to have just a group of people. We'll sit and we'll talk. Well, if nothing else, if we hate everything there, we hate the place, we're going to be laughing. We're going to be smiling. You know, my friend with the kayak is going, and her big question was, is there food? That's how.
Yep.
Yes, there is food. And that's all she needed to hear. And she's like, I'm in. Sold. Let's go. You know, so just getting out with people, one, who know our history, who loved us before this, who love us after this, who are patient with us, who share their time and their energy with us. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. So
good stuff. And you got it's about time for the scan anxiety to start festering. That plan came in
2 weeks from Tuesday.
2 weeks from Tuesday.
I think the 27th is a Tuesday.
Well, the 17th is Sunday.
Or Wednesday. It might be a Wednesday. It's a Thursday. So on the 27th, 2 weeks from this Thursday, we will be doing all of your scans. So we'll fill this weekend with good things.
Yep.
And then next weekend, if we need some downtime to process everything and to prepare, great. Then we'll have your scans and your appointment. And then we're skipping out for a minute. And we're going to go home for a minute. Regardless of the outcome, we're going to go home for a minute. And, you know, just, it's kind of...
What's kind of ironic and not... It's not like ironic, like... I don't know. But it's kind of one of those... The last time we were home this time of year... was before all this started.
This was our last normal event before this started.
And some of that is coming back. Like, I think I noticed it today. And that's when my day kind of just chipped away and I was like, bleh. So we're kind of going back to the start. Not really the start, but when we noticed there was something really wrong.
Yeah.
And then it just went downhill right after that. Like it landslided.
Right. We knew something was going on. We didn't know what, but we knew it was something. And it did. It just landslided after this event. But this was what I consider one of those last events we did of normalcy.
Yes.
You know, it was before we knew. It was before we were doing all the testing. You were scheduled for testing like 3 days after we got home. And so that's when things started changing for us. So in a sense, it's going to be good to go back and to go back in a good mind space as far as you're here and you're walking and I'm not, you can handle yourself and, you know, we're not in the situation that we could have been in.
Yep.
you know, and we haven't really been home. We went home October, or we went home for Thanksgiving. In 2021, and we haven't.
Yeah, we haven't been back since.
We didn't go home last year at anything?
No, Paige's graduation.
Okay, so we went back in June of last year. We try to get home occasionally.
But I think
in June you were still in treatment. You were still...
Well, I think it's more that you're going back to the same time frame, the same event.
Yeah.
That you did right before all this started.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe it's full circle. Maybe it's just a full circle. You know, like
maybe. So there's a bit of nervousness, awkwardness. I don't know what the right word is. It's not anxiety, but it's. I don't know what the right word for it is, but yeah, I'm sure
it's emotion fueled. That's all.
Y'all know what I'm saying.
There's some emotions around this that weren't there before.
Yeah, y'all know what I'm trying to say. So even though we've been home, we've been to the spot where, but this is the same.
This holiday is
festival.
Hard for us to begin with.
Yes.
This isn't an easy holiday for us.
Yes.
And so we have gone full circle on this holiday ourselves, and now we're adding in another full circle of
a little.
We're going back to.
Yeah, this was right before our life. Well, our life changed. I don't even know if it's changed. I mean, flipped upside down, inside out. But anyway.
But it'll be good. It'll be good. We'll see cousins and little cousins and babies that we haven't met, and we'll see family and friends. So
yep, it's going to be an emotional.
Time to go.
It'll be an emotional roller coaster for sure.
But
yep. So anyway,
finish with some boom booms in the sky, and maybe that'll feel good.
Yep.
Boom booms are fireworks, everyone.
We'll ice down some non-alcoholics.
I will ice down the full things.
So, all right, well.
Let's get off here. I have things we have to do.
Yep, I think we kind of rambled for not really having a topic.
Well, it happens. You can't have a topic every time because our lives don't work that way.
Yep. But there's the one thing that I keep saying is not every day is a good day, but there's something good in every day.
Truth. And
with that, we're out of here. Y'all have a great week. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Bye.